I just came back from a mastermind which was held behind closed doors because there were people who work inside of Facebook's headquarters responsible for creating advertising policies, and they shared best tips and strategies on how you can scale your business with Facebook ads in 2026 and moving forward. And it's quite important updates because there's a lot of improvements and a lot of changes that are happening inside of Facebook's advertising platform, which are related to machine learning, to AI, and most importantly, generally advertising becoming more and more expensive and competitive. So these are the three strategies that I picked from that meeting, and let's dive in. In case you're wondering who I am and why you should listen to me, my name is Nazim. I run a marketing agency. We work with coaches, consultants, high-ticket businesses, content creators, course creators. If you are sharing your expertise or selling services, we can help. And in the last 10 years, we made our clients over $40 million in sales, and Facebook ads funnels is our bread and butter. So definitely know a thing or two about Facebook ads. So let's dive in. So the biggest thing you need to understand is that Facebook inevitably is going to become more and more expensive to advertise on, simply because the population, like to explain it in the most layman's terms possible, the population of the world is growing and people are opening more and more businesses, but the Facebook newsfeed is not expanding, right? And there's only that much scrolling that people are going to do at a given day, but more and more people want to appear on the newsfeed. So that essentially creates supply deficit. There's a lot of demand, not a lot of supply. And just 1 year to another, it's the CPMs, which stands for cost per 1,000 impressions. It's how much Facebook charges you for showing your ads 1,000 times, has gone up by 20%, which is not a small increase. It may sound small on paper, but if it basically keeps scaling like that in a geometrical progression year over year, you can start with 10, go up to 12, but then the next year it's going to be 20% of the $12, which is going to be closer to like $3 jump, right? And then you're looking at 20% of a $16 jump. So if it keeps going up like that in geometrical progression, then let's say in 5 years from now, the prices will most likely double. And that's the status quo. There's no changing that. And I don't even blame it on Facebook per se. It's just more people that are trying to advertise and trying to make money. And funny enough, the first strategy was about improving the business unit metrics. And what that basically means is optimizing your revenue and your sale after the click happens. Now, you might be thinking that I would now start immediately talking about Facebook advertising strategies, but you're wrong. Because one of the biggest things we actually discussed on that seminar was increasing your average order value, increasing your customer lifetime value, and your ability to make as much money as possible from the ads, because that's really the big lever that you can control and pull. You cannot control this. You cannot control the cost of advertising. Now, obviously, you can improve your marketing funnels, you can improve your ads, but a 20% improvement in marketing cannot be compared to a 20% improvement in your average order value. If you improve your marketing, you can get cheaper leads. Maybe you can get 20% more leads. You can pay Facebook less because you're more efficient with your ad spend. But if you increase your average order value by 20%, you're straight up making 20% more money. It's like in the most direct linear fashion. And from my experience of working with literally dozens of clients, this is probably the most overlooked piece of the puzzle. Everybody raves on about marketing funnels, click-through rates, AI-generated images and videos, and not enough people actually spend enough time on the business unit metrics. And the most important business unit metrics are AOV and customer lifetime value. AOV is essentially what people pay you upfront. Customer lifetime value is what they pay you in the lifetime of being your customer until they churn. And look, if you're running a high-ticket business, there's two ways to increase your AOV. First of all, you can increase the price of your offer. That's kind of like the obvious one. But the not so obvious ways to increase your AOV is to actually spend time with your sales team so that they can actually collect more cash upfront. It's one of those things that not a lot of people talk about. Everybody talks about close rates, how often salespeople close deals, but not a lot of people actually talk about maximizing how much cash they collect on that sales call. So that's number two. And then number three is going to be making your offer so damn good that your general sales rate goes up. So making the offer great, increasing the price on the offer, and then training your sales team to collect as much cash up front as possible. Now, if you're selling courses or products, then increasing your AOV means adding order bumps, adding upsells, adding downsells in that one session when you're selling your product. So if someone adds your course in the cart and it's $97, then on the checkout page, you can add an order bump for $27. And because that doesn't get bought every time, only half the time, it still increases your average order value by at least, I would say 20-30%. You get the spiel. So AOV optimization, then customer lifetime value optimization. And this is more simple concept. What this basically means is selling to your clients for longer and selling them more things. So when it comes to coaching business, most important thing you can do is actually get your clients great results, because if they don't get results from your program, then they're not gonna, it doesn't matter what you want to sell them, they're not gonna buy. And especially if you're in this biz ops space, if you have a program that helps people make money, but they don't really make money with it, then they're not gonna have the money to keep investing in your higher echelons of programs, right? So that's very important, because happy clients equals to more upsell opportunities and then higher retention. Most businesses have shitty retention, right? So if your ads are not profitable or your business is not profitable, before going and trying to steal the next Facebook advertising trick, I would actually, first of all, look at your retention. Then I would look at your general offer, right? For how much you sell it, how often you sell it. And then I would think about, if you're an actual actively running business where you have dozens of active clients, and then I would think about adding extra programs, services on top of your existing one to make more money. Some of the best case studies that I've had, I'll show you one now. So with Thorsten here, literally went from $60,000 to over $600,000 per month, and 50% of our results happened because I helped them to increase their customer lifetime value. We did not 10x our ads efficiency. We improved the ads by a lot, but most of the results were driven because we just started collecting more money from people, plain and simple, right? And if you're clueless on how you can increase your AOV, your customer lifetime value, then you can go to nazimconsulting.com and apply for a strategy session. Running ads is not the only thing we do for clients. We become your main marketing engine. That's it, plain and simple. We'll write your ads, we'll create the ads, we'll run the ads. But on top of that, we also do a lot of business consulting, because we've been around for the last 10 years, made our clients over $40 million in literally dozens of businesses all across all sorts of niches. There is probably nothing that we haven't seen. And when you start working with us, is you don't just invest in an advertising agency, which is only one small piece of the puzzle. You invest into a marketing partner who is going to learn your business and then grow it alongside with you. Now, let's talk about the sauce, right? What you probably expected. Let's talk about advertising strategies. But here still, I'm not going to talk about the specific toggle or tactic that you can try on Facebook, try turning on in the ads manager, which is going to get you best results. You can probably watch other YouTube videos on how you can turn on the Advantage Plus optimization and how that's supposed to revolutionize your business, but it won't. What's going to revolutionize your business is meta strategies. No pun intended. It's not the Facebook meta. I'm talking about the grand scheme of things, the big strategies. So the first one is making more money per client. The second one is tapping into blue ocean audiences. And what I mean by that is this. Let's have a look at the client awareness pyramid. Now, obviously, a lot of you are probably aware with this concept is that there's people that are most aware, product aware, solution aware, problem aware, and then unaware. And the problem is, the reason why advertising is so expensive is because 90% of advertisers are here. They're trying to go after people that are most aware, that are price shopping almost at this point. So if your ad sounds like this, if you're suffering from this, then our product or our solution is the best in the marketplace. Go and apply for a consultation call. Then you're going after only the low-hanging fruit. The problem is everybody else goes for the low-hanging fruit, which makes it pretty darn expensive. So instead of going only after the most aware audiences, you should also go after these three pillars below. I'm not the best advertisers, the absolute masters are going for unaware audiences, but that's going to be beyond the context of this video. If you still capture these three pillars, that you're still capturing extra 36% people, right? Which is 9 times as much as the people you're probably targeting right now, which is the top 4%. right? So the question is, how do I go after these audiences? That's a great question. Well, the best way to go about it is by having rich ad diversity. What I mean by that is you, number one, need to run tons of ads. There we are, tons of ads. I would say minimum 30 to 50 ads. I have video ads here, but not all of them have to be video ads. But I personally like to run at least 70 to 80% of ads for my clients as video ads. And then the rest we can fill with images, mostly for remarketing. But yeah, still 30 to 50 ads minimum per account. And a lot of you watching are barely running 4 or 5 ads. Now, look, if you're running $100 a day, I think you don't have to run 30 to 50 ads. You should run at least 10 to 15. But as you start tapping into those $1,000 per day brackets, then you should step up your game and get to these numbers, right? And the most advanced businesses that we work with, I'm talking about 2 to 3 to 4K ad spend per day, we're running 70 plus ads, right? And the way you structure your ads also matters a lot, because when you are creating these 30 to 50 ads, it's not like you say the same thing over and over. First of all, you will not be able to do that, say the same thing over and over. So instead, what you do is you angle your ads across these pillars, right? So you're essentially meeting people wherever they are in the buyer's awareness stage. So if you want to, for example, target people that are problem aware, in the ad, you mainly talk about the problem. So your hook in the beginning, the good chunk of the ad needs to be talking about their problem, right? And then introducing a potential solution at the end of the video and then sending them to your funnel. If people are solution aware, then you can start talking about the solution and you can start discussing all other solutions on the market and you can bash them and then say, hey, well, our solution is the best. So that's the second sort of ad. And then the third ad is obviously people that are, even more aware, right? So for example, if you're a fitness coach, in the problem aware bracket, you can talk about the hardships of losing weight. In the solution aware, you can talk about different ways to lose weight, like yo-yo dieting, exercising, supplements. And then here in the product aware, when people know that dieting plus exercising is best, you can talk about specific diet routines and workouts and why yours is the best one. So again, as you can see, it takes a lot of planning and strategic thinking into pulling this off. But once you pull this off, you're literally going to be 1, maybe 2% of advertisers on Facebook, because most people just put out a few ads targeting this green audience, which everybody's targeting, which is why it's so expensive and most people fail with Facebook ads. And now I'll actually show you a specific webinar funnel that one of the advertisers ran there. It's kind of crazy actually how granular it was, but it was a marketing and a sort of like consequential retargeting masterclass. So most people are having a hard time writing ads that slowly address each one of these awareness levels one by one. These guys have created webinars, 4 mini webinars, targeting each one of these awareness stages. And here's how it worked. So I think the offer was a course on how to make money by becoming a remote video editor. So if they recorded in the ad said, hey, video editing is the best skill that's going to make you a lot of money, they would only be targeting maybe these 2 audiences, realistically only just this one, because there's a lot of people that are not even aware that it's possible to make money online, that becoming a freelancer is the best way to do it, and that becoming a video editing expert is the best way to do it, right? So they will be skipping on all of these audiences. So instead, what they did was they created 4 different mini webinars and ads for these 4 different stages of the funnel, which are all different. So in the first webinar and ads that go with it, they were talking about how making money online is a real viable opportunity. So they first installed that belief that making money online is a real thing. On the second mini webinar, they were talking about how online businesses have been on a rise and they all need a video editor, right? So they sold them on this opportunity. So first, you can make money online. Second, you can make money online here. And on the third webinar, they dived even deeper in the numbers, right? How many hours you're going to spend editing videos, how much money you can ask, how much money you can make, testimonials of other people who did the same. And then on the mini webinar number 4, they just went straight into the offer. Hey guys, you now know that you can make money online, you can do it in this industry, and this is how you do it specifically. Let's say they gave them a 3-step framework on how to make this all work. And then in the webinar number 4, they said, hey, if you don't want to bother learning all of this on your own, which is going to take you probably weeks, if not months, then come and work with us. right? As you can see, each webinar sells only one idea at a time, and they keep remarketing them into these webinars one step at a time. Now, I don't think you have to be this granular. You can just create one good webinar that takes you through all of the steps, and then you can just create a bunch of ads and stuff them all into one campaign, and Facebook will automatically match ads with people at a different awareness level. And that's why Meta is so good these days. A lot of people are complaining at AI that it's become more complex or convoluted, but AI is great because it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. But AI needs a lot of ads creatives and context, a lot of different angles and hooks that it can work with, which is why it is essential that you create a lot of ads. So how does this again apply to your business? Let's kind of like do a summary. First of all, the most important thing you can do is you fix your business unit metrics, you fix your economics. Audit your AOV, audit your average order value, audit your customer lifetime value, figure out how much money you make per client, and come up with ways to increase it by at least 20-30% more. Because at the end of the day, the more expensive it's going to become, and it will become more expensive to advertise on these platforms, the business that has got the most cash and can allow itself to spend the most is going to be the true winner. Then you're going to take care of the creative engine, right? You can't just create 1 or 2 or 3 ads, throw it up in the ads manager and hope it's going to work. Look, if you're going to be running ads, you need to do it properly, like any sort of marketing venture or strategy you're going to be investing in, right? And if you feel like you lack the know-how on how to do it, you feel lost, you have the money, you have the business, and you want to scale your business with Facebook ads, then go to nazimconsulting.com, which is my website, and apply for a strategy session. I'll sit down with you for free, me personally, and ask you a bunch of questions and come up with a game plan, and then I can present it to you. And if you like it, let's roll with it. If not, no worries. It'll still probably be the most valuable 30-40 minutes you will ever spend. And then obviously step number 3 is make sure that your funnel, your webinar, your VSL matches your ads, right? Again, the biggest thing you need to keep in mind here is you should not just only target the most aware audience with your ads and funnels. You should also try to go lower. And Frank Kern, actually, I forgot to quote him here, said it the best. He said, the real fruit is at the top of the tree, not the low-hanging fruit. Everybody's going for the low-hanging fruit, but the real fruits, the real results are at the top, right? If you look at an apple tree, yeah, it looks like most apples are at the bottom, but that's because you cannot look at the top of the tree. And there's a reason why they put these shaking machines, which shake the hell out of the tree, and they end up with like 15 times as many apples or oranges, whatever. So yeah, again, have enough creatives, make sure that the funnel also considers all of the beliefs that you have to install in your client so that they can go from not even knowing what the right solution is, just having a problem, to actually believing that your solution is best and that you're the best provider of that solution. And that's it, guys. Again, go to nazimconsulting.com to book your strategy session. I hope you like this video. Hit like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like these, and I'll catch you in the next videos.